Holidaygurus Gurucast.
Hello and welcome to the second instalment of Season 2 of the Gurucast. Whether you're looking for a soundtrack to your studying, hoping to make the drive to work a bit easier, or even just a bit of motivation to get you through the last stretch of your workout, we're delighted that you've picked us to help you get to your destination, and we promise we won't disappoint. As always, I'm joined by two people whose depth of knowledge could give Google Maps a run for its money. Ella Carroll and Shane Clark, how are you getting on?
Very well, thank you.
Hi Martin, good to be back.
Excellent stuff. Are you looking forward to today's show?
As always, I love making this podcast, so anytime we get a chance to do it, I'm happy.
And Ella?
Yes.
Yes. Guys, your enthusiasm and humbleness is refreshing. So yeah, today's show is a real treat for you, as Ella will bring us to a destination blessed to have almost year-round sunshine in Cape Verde. We are joined by the brilliant Stefan Kerkhofs, one of the founders of Dinner in the Sky, to discuss their incredibly creative concept of a restaurant suspended from a crane. We also have just enough time for Shane to delight us with one more instalment of his weekly top 5. In the guru world, there is nothing worse than a delay, so let's not hold things up any further and get the ball rolling with Ella's Where To, How To.
Where to, how to.
Welcome back to my second instalment of Where To, How To. This one goes out to all of those people who are maybe planning their summer holidays. This is a good time to do it before the prices really start increasing and hotels are booked out for peak season. But maybe you want to try something new this year, or you're getting a little bit bored of, say, the Canary Islands, which you can't blame people for going there. The sunshine year round, but maybe you've been to Fuerteventura maybe one too many times and you just want to
branch out.
Yeah, and you want to relax on a beach that is just totally brand new, and you can come back home and you can say you've been to this place and people are like, what?
And you're not going to have to fight someone for a sunbed or a space on the beach.
And for that reason, I've decided to have a little look at Cape Verde, which is an African island nation. It's a little bit further southwest of the Canaries, closer to the equator. So a small group of islands, there's 10 in total, and the average temperature's maybe about 25 degrees.
Ooh,
sunshine
nice.
All year round. It's pretty much the perfect place to go for anyone looking to come back feeling sun-kissed and
top up that tan.
Yeah, exactly. And even some of the landscapes look very similar as well to like Gran Canaria, for example. It's all volcanic islands and
black sand beaches.
It all ranges from like lush valleys to like sand dunes, volcanoes even. The country is famous for its mix of Portuguese and African culture. It used to be a colony of the Portuguese Empire. And as a result, when you go there, you can really notice this kind of mix of everything, like the cuisine. The seafood in Cape Verde is top notch. I can recommend trying some cachupa. I don't really know how to say that. But it's like, it originates from Portugal, and it's like a stew that has all these like spices and vegetables and seafood, obviously. So if you're going to go to Cape Verde, try it. Like if you don't try that when you're there, you're doing it all wrong.
Freshly caught every day, you can't go wrong. Like.
Amazing. There's also famous Morna music. It's kind of like the Cape Verdean equivalent of fado music in Portugal. It's really important to the people there, and it's just like an essential part of their culture.
A lot of passion in that style of music. Yeah.
So that's all part and fun of the holiday, is getting to explore new cultures. But I think what people have trouble with, if people decide to go to Cape Verde, a lot of the trouble is deciding which island to go to, and you have 10 to choose from. I personally would say see as many of them as you can, but some islands do sort of specialise in
they stand out a bit
yeah,
more,
exactly. So I'll just go through 4 of them. These are probably the most popular ones of the country. The first one is Sal, probably the most popular island by far, and this is because of its beaches. You've got resorts like Santa Maria and quite popular with tourists, so you have a lot of bars and restaurants that you can go to. So after you've had a busy day of sunbathing, enjoy some cocktails and just enjoy the long evenings.
Yeah, it's not to say that the touristy thing is always the wrong thing.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that can be...
And if you do want to get away from a bit of the hubbub, so to speak, you can go to Ponte Preta, which is in the west of the island, and it's famous for like these sand dunes that just go on and on. So if you want somewhere a bit more secluded, then obviously you have those options as well. So another, well, even better for beaches, I would say, is Boa Vista. It's pretty much pristine, and so beautiful that like even turtles nest there. So if turtles are nesting at a beach, you know it's good. Snorkeling here is amazing. You've got like coral reefs and all sorts of like fish species that you can see, and it's perfect conditions. Like the ocean's nice and warm.
Yeah, crystal blue seas.
It's pretty amazing. If you like sports, you got like windsurfing, really good trade winds for this kind of thing. And if you want to get out and about, then you can do like treks across the Vaiana Desert. Obviously, I'd recommend the organised tours because wandering around in a desert by yourself probably isn't the best idea.
Recipe for disaster.
Ill advised.
Yeah, but you can head out on like 4x4s and you can just go like driving across the dunes, and it's just the island is basically just one giant beach, basically. So I mean, what's not to love about that? Next up is Santiago. This is the largest island in Cape Verde, and it's where you'll find the capital city, Praia. And it's a really good place to go. Even if you just spend a couple of nights here, if you just want to get a taste of like what life is like in Cape Verde,
like proper culture. And
yeah,
stuff
exactly.
Like, that,
like there's loads of markets where like they sell like produce, and you can see the locals like haggling for prices. And even if you just sit outside on the terraces at night and you just watch the world go by and see how the people live their lives there, and they're all super friendly and welcoming, and it's just like I find that stuff kind of really interesting. It's part of the holiday for me as well. It's just to
as well as flaking out on the beach, you can enjoy and soak up some of the culture, you know.
And so we've covered beaches, we've covered culture, and
a bit of sports and stuff as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And the creme de la creme for me has to be the island of São Vicente. And this is like the place you go if you really want to experience like Cape Verdean culture at its very best. They have nightlife. You've got live music everywhere, especially the what is it called?
Morning music.
The morning music. Festivals even, and they celebrate Carnival in February, and they have a whole festival in August dedicated to just music on the beach. So I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, like I go to a couple of festivals, and sometimes the weather can be a bit dodgy, but when you're sorting yourself out with sunshine, that makes all the difference.
Exactly, you're guaranteed the best conditions for.
Oh, for sure. I think it's pretty much amazing how you've managed to tick every box imaginable there. So if you're not really up for a Cape Verdean holiday after hearing all that, then you have to take a good long look at yourself in the mirror. Thank you very much for this week's instalment, Ella. Brilliant as always. Let's move on now to our interview. Okay, so for this week's episode, we thought we would bring you something a little different. It takes a very special character to back up the saying, if you can see it, you can do it. Because sometimes what you see in your head may just sound a little crazy on paper. Maybe Shane can tell us a little bit more.
In 2006, a unique kind of business idea was brought to life by business partners David Geisels and Stefan Kerkhofs. This novel idea had more legs than either David or Stefan could have imagined, and has since expanded across the globe. The idea was to say that the sky was not the limit, and serve up gourmet cuisine in the clouds. In the subsequent years, Dinner in the Sky has served up delicacies in 45 different countries across the globe, from Australia to Dubai, from the United States to China. And we're delighted to say that we are joined today by Stefan.
Stefan Kerkhofs, thank you so much for joining us this morning to talk about your project. I was hoping that you could maybe give firstly and foremost a background into the idea or how it came about to formulate Dinner in the Sky, because it's such a unique concept.
Yes, good morning. The idea came a couple of years ago, around 13 years ago. I can tell you something very small about my background, is that I grew up as a child in a crane company. My parents had a lot of cranes. And I started 28 years ago my company with bungee jumping. And one of the days we create a platform where people can sit in on this platform with 24 guests. And we just lift them up. There was no possibility to eat and to drink. Till one of my friends told me, "Hey, Stefan, maybe this is a great idea when we're watching the concert, that we can, in the meantime, that we can eat and drink." And then we were thinking, okay, eating in the sky, drinking, dinner. Okay, let's call it Dinner in the Sky, and let's create a table where 24 guests can sit on, and where we have the possibility to put a chef inside, and we can serve a star meal. So that was the born of the concept Dinner in the Sky.
Amazing.
And it just kind of took off from there. Amazing. So You guys have expanded to several countries over the years. Have there been any kind of challenges that you've faced in expanding to all those kind of different countries? Because that's one thing that really struck me.
Yeah, since this year we are active in 63 different countries. Of course, as long you go to European countries, then you have the standard like you used to be. But of course, when you go to South Africa, if you go to Saudi Arabia, we did Pakistan now. Of course, there's always a challenge on your road before you're there. Especially, I did Pakistan a couple of weeks ago, and it's not normal for us that everywhere where you go that you see people with guns. But on another way, to be there makes it also very unique and very special. Because you don't expect when you create a concept like this that you're going to be years later that you're going to be a part in this part of the world. So, but the preparation it's always the same. Recreate the table here in Belgium. We put it in a 40-feet container. We send it and ship it to the country, to destination. And then we fly over with a couple of crew members. We install the whole installation and we give them the training. And then after all, then we go back and we follow up the customers. In that case, it's everywhere the same. But sometimes it's strange how it goes. I mean, if you ask a forklift in Saudi Arabia, then you get 25 people and not a forklift.
Yeah. That I can understand. In terms of other aspects of expansion, rather than the incredibly impressive geographical expansion that you've had over the years, it's also kind of been the concept itself, as you said, started with just a bungee idea. Then it kind of evolved then into a more culinary experience, and it's also taken other routes for things such as weddings. So people have even gotten married in the sky. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, you know what? We are a very creative company. We start working for John de Mol Productions. The TV producers who create also Big Brother, and we did, let's say, 15 years ago for him a very unique show. The show is Fear Factor. Fear Factor recreated at my place, and then you come. You're involved by creating very unique attractions, and this was so interesting. This was so much fun that we are thinking, okay, let's create a company that create only crazy ideas, and then. Of course, with the platforms that we have now, you can do everything. Point in the sky, you can fill it in. You can fill it in with a lot of different possibilities. And one of the things is marriage in the sky, concert in the sky, movie in the sky, of course, dinner in the sky. Name it, and we make it.
And you can put it in the sky, literally.
Yeah. That's, especially with the marriage in the sky. What we do also is that when the marriage is done, the couple needs to make a bungee jump.
Oh wow!
So when you trust, you make a jump in the future. Huh? That's what it was the idea.
I guess it's kind of a great way of securing that the marriage actually happens as well, because there's no escape for people when they're up there, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. You go 100%, otherwise there's no marriage.
Exactly.
So Stefan, I'm sure like over the years you've had hundreds of guests take part in these events. Out of all of the guests, who would be kind of the most high profile people to take part?
Oh, we are visiting for a couple of years now Monaco, and I'm gonna be honest is that Monsieur Prince Albert from Monaco, he's my favorite guest in all the years that I have had before, because he's a so very nice guy. He's very relaxed every time when he comes on the dinner. because I'm not going to say that I know him very well, but he recognized me every time when we come there, and he's so relaxed. He's so fun. That's one of my favorite guests that I had on my table till now.
No, that's amazing. He's like a really kind of down to earth sort of guy, is he?
Yeah, he's super. And we go back to Monaco this year, so I hope to meet him again because it's real fun.
Amazing. So going back to these kind of events, you've had a lot of events, and out of all of them, what was the like most interesting kind of crazy thing that happened during them? Is there anything that kind of sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, in my mind, I think that India was the most unique event that we had, because the customer makes a very special week for us. Is that I don't know why? Of course, we are creators and we are designers, but they treat us also as artists. Because from the moment when we came on the airport, we had several camera crew behind us for the whole stay. The whole, as long as we stay, there were cameras in our neighbor, but also the way how they treat us, they really treat us as big stars. With bodyguards, with everywhere where we came, there was always a ceremony, an official ceremony with flowers and with traditional things. But after a week, when we go home and we need to say goodbye to all these people, it was a very emotional moment because it was so unique, and that's gonna stay always in my mind for the rest of my life, I think.
Incredible. Just in relation to that sort of feeling and that unique bond in which you build in a certain place, it seems that when people are taking part in this event, no matter what sort of social status they come from, when they are suspended up in the air, there seems to be this kind of camaraderie and bond that builds up between the people who are taking part. That seems to be the recurring theme that we see from this. It's a kind of a special thing that you have created, but I'm just kind of wondering, what would the next step be for Dinner in the Sky? You're an incredibly creative company. You have branched out already to multiple different areas. Do you see any other routes for your company to go, or is there anything big that we can expect in the next couple of years?
Yes, of course. Is that a company like Dinner in the Sky is always searching for new concepts, and this is, let's be honest, is that I need this sort of new projects to fit myself and to make me happy, because when it goes on a standard life, then it's not okay for me. But we are working now very hard on another concept. We want to go to. We are working now for a project in Dubai. It's going to be a fixed tower. It's going to be 90 meters high with a lot of arms and tables comes around. So it's a total other concept than we do with Dinner in the Sky. But the basics are the same. You can eat on a very unique place in a unique construction with a unique overview of the location. But we are working still on the project for the moment, and I think that we can launch it in a couple months.
Excellent. I can't wait to see the end result of that, and hopefully I'll be able to experience it myself quite soon. Stefan, that's pretty much all we have time for today. Thank you so much for taking part. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Stefan.
All right, thank you very much. Success.
Excellent. Thank you.
And now, this week's Holidayguru Top 5.
Okay, so this week we are bringing you 5 dangerous foods that are eaten around the world. Okay, so first one we're going to kick off with, number 5, is a pretty common one that you might not realize. Rhubarb. The stalks are perfect for making pies and like crumbles and delicious stuff like that, but you should really, really avoid the leaves because they can actually make you very sick or even kill you.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So, and then at number 4, we have the cassava. eaten widely in Africa and South America, but it needs to be cooked very, very thoroughly. If you were to chew it raw, an enzyme in the tuber converts into cyanide. Then at number 3, we've got the ackee, I should say, a beloved fruit in Jamaica. It can be eaten when fully ripe and properly prepared. Eat it too soon, and it can result in severe vomiting and even death. At number 2,
That's so trivial when you say that.
At number 2, we've got the Huracarl, I think. I'm gonna go with that pronunciation. It's probably incorrect, but we'll roll with it. It's shark meat that has been buried to fermented in its own fluids and then hung up to dry. It's a prized delicacy in Greenland and even in parts of Iceland as well. There are, however, potentially toxic substances that build up in the flesh. And then at number 1, we've got the African bullfrog. Considered a delicacy in certain African nations, they eat the frog whole, not just the legs, but it can also carry a toxin that can lead to kidney failure. So there you go. 5 things that you should probably avoid or be aware of when you're traveling the globe.
Or at least make sure the chef has their credentials up on the wall when you're in the restaurant. Yeah, that was pretty terrifying.
Well, look, you got to try different things, but as you said, you just got to make sure you know when it's been cooked and it's been prepared in the correct way.
Some people like to live in the danger zone. Okay, so thank you very much for that amazing installment of your weekly top 5. As per usual, just before we go, I'd like to say thank you to our sound engineer, Sebastian Weber, for constantly being our guiding light. Ella and Shane, brilliant stuff as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Martin.
And we shall be back with you next week for another installment of Holiday Guru's Gurucast. So peace out and have a nice week.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.